So this is Ingham Church. In all my notes I've said it's actually a bit rubbish, but now that I'm looking back at it, I'm looking at the outside, it's lovely. The inside, I mean, you'll find out. I visited a lot of churches in my time. This is the first one I've filmed, and to be honest, it's not a great place to start, but it's an alright church. So I started by filming some of the local area. You've got there the brewery called Brewshed, Baker Bodycraft, I'm guessing that's probably cars. Big yellow field. And a huge Suffolk sky. I love that, look at all them clouds. It's like a duvet. And I saw this as well, it's just an industrial park. Served as the inspiration for Mad Max. See, Ingham is kind of unfortunate. It's like one of those towns you see on a travel program where it only exists because the train stops there. I mean, it's just a long road going through it, and there's stuff around it. I saw this greenhouse on the way home. Don't know what's in it. They wouldn't let me in, but I'm guessing it'll be tomatoes or chilies, tomatillos. I mean, what else do you put in a greenhouse? Again, we've got that big sky. Duvet, keep that greenhouse warm. And there we go. This is the field outside the back of the church. We've gone from greenhouse to God's house. There it is, St Bartholomew. It was built in like the 1400s. But it was like so many Suffolk churches, it was rebuilt and renovated in the 1860s, 1861. There's a font in there which we might see from the year 1200, and the church is recorded in the Domesday Book as at least existing, not in this form. Yeah, so that would be 1086. So it's an old thing, it's been there for a while. And to be fair, I've done a disservice to Ingham, I guess. It's obviously existed before the road existed. It's like 1,000 years old. Yeah, these are just some old gravestones I found. Costwick family are obviously big in the area. They've got a few graves. And you can see the camera wobbling about here. I'm treading carefully. You've got to tread carefully when walking around a graveyard. You don't want to disturb the spirits because they will mess up your church tour. You've got to be ever respectful. And I'm making a beeline here, look, for this skull. At one point, I'm guessing, he would have had something in his eyes. Okay, here we go. This is an actual proper look at it. Oh no, wait. This is a look at some bees. That thing was buzzing. The bees were just coming out of it. You can look at those windows. It's a lovely example of perpendicular tracery. But then, before we get into the proper meat of the church, here we go. This is a park I saw outside the back, which I really liked. It's a huge park. You don't really see too many parks this big and not out the back of churches. There's a couple of things I liked. The first was that it had a slogan, which we'll see later, but also this. It's like a shark and a whale kissing in the centre. Yeah, there's a horse over there. Just sort of relaxing, just standing there, fair enough. Yeah, see, look, possibility becomes reality. There's all the people that made it into a reality. So, shouts out to them. But then this is my favourite part, look, it's like possibility becomes reality, but do not enter any land outside the playground. It belongs to the local landowners, so stay in your box, kids. So here we go, look, a nice aspect of the church framed by those trees. Very nice. Typical flint exterior. Here we go. We're back to those bees. See, that's a trefoil, that thing there, for a little three-leaf clover, but you can see the bees coming in and out of it, and you could hear it too when I was standing there. I've switched now to portrait mode, so sorry if that's messed anything up, but you sort of have to capture in the tower. And it looks as if there's a late addition on top of the tower because the stone pattern changes. I don't know if that's right. I couldn't find anything about it. It could just be that they picked a lighter type of stone because it gets heavy up top. Yeah, so we're inside the church now. The first thing you notice is yellow. It's a sort of Easter egg colour. Then the second thing I noticed, there's a pretty nice toilet set up. Didn't look like it's original. This is obviously a later edition, but they've got everything you need. Look, bin, mop, baby changing. It's all clean. So yeah, top marks for that. Another thing I liked about the toilet was that it's twinned with this one here in Pakistan. It made me wonder whether there's a similar picture in Pakistan. There's a guy using a toilet like, that's a nice church. Shame about the colour though. So we're back looking at the church now. First thing you look at is the floor. People often overlook the floors in churches, but there's so much detail there. Someone's put some effort into it and thought about it, so I think the least you can do is sort of think about it yourself and have a little look. This one, however, isn't really worth the look. They removed the pews at some point. I don't really know what they've been doing with the space, playing hopscotch by the looks of it. There's a cafe near me where they've got pews instead of seats, and I guess that's the kind of thing that happens with them. But here we go. Looking down the nave, this is Westwood. I'm not talking about the big dog. We don't mention that name. Just, I mean, towards the west, and then we go up here. Sorry about the motion sickness. Look at the ceiling. This is weird. It's white plaster. You don't often see that. It makes you think it's ripe for a painting like the Sistine Chapel. I think Michelangelo might have been booked in, but then he got the call up from the Pope. It's like, sorry, Ingham, I got to go. Pope needs me. So I always look at organs when I'm in a church, but I've never got any idea what I'm looking at. I mean, this could be a nice one. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty standard, really, I think, but quality construction, no doubt. You can see this one here. It's made by Bevington and Sons from Soho, London. I met a guy in Soho once calling himself Bevington. He didn't really seem like a church type. I liked it that it was decorated with all these kind of all these messages that reduce, reuse, recycle. Can't argue with that. It's a turret with an anchor we just saw, but that was my favourite. It's the earth, head, mind, bishop guy. Poetic. This is the other aspect, looking eastward down into the chancel, which really is the business end of the church. This is where there's the most intrigue and the stuff going on. So you can see there what a church roof would usually look like. It's wooden with the exposed beams. It was renovated in 1861 like the rest of it, but they kept the original arch braces and the spandrels. And the spandrels are those kind of triangular sandwich shaped things. They're finely carved with Renaissance motifs according to my book, but I couldn't really see that at the time. It's too far away, and you probably can't see it on the video either. The arch braces are the wishbone shaped things. Yeah, they're pretty good apparently, and I didn't spend as much time looking at these little angels as I thought I did. So if you want to get a proper look at these, you're going to have to pause, I'm afraid. But I mean, they're not that interesting anyway. I think really it's the spandrels with the Renaissance motifs that are the most interesting, but you can't see them, so you've got to visit for yourself. This guy here, he's holding a cross. You know what that means? This is good. Look, Robert Lowe, 91 years old, which is a good effort in those days. It's probably like twice the average life expectancy. This guy here, Edward Leeds, he was a schoolmaster in local town Bury. There's something in my book about these. So these are decalogues with the 10 Commandments, I think, and they were made in the 19th century. So they look old. They look really old. They look older than a lot of it, but they're not that old. This is good too. These panels are interesting. There's Virgin Mary, probably St John, and then wait, I'll look it up. Saint Elizabeth, yeah, and St John. And the side panels have the evangelistic symbols. So look, this is what I'm talking about. Look at this decorated floor. with classic Victorian style, arts and crafts tiles. You see a lot of these in Suffolk churches, these colours and this style. I don't know, must have just got a guy doing a job lot. Also, those chairs in the background are quite nice. Usually I would spend some time filming those, but I didn't this time around. And look, there's a dead bee. I know he's come from up top because I'm surprised there's not more, to be honest. There's thousands of them. That's a little alcove. You climb up and do a stage dive if it's busy enough. And spend a bit of time looking at these windows. I'm guessing the glass was replaced. It may have had stained glass at some point. There's nothing about it in my books again, but you can see some of them are different. It's decorated perpendicular tracery. Gothic style. Classic. And look, this is a kitchen. Well, it was something else. It hasn't always been a kitchen. You can see that's a relatively modern kitchen. It's the only thing with actual stained glass in it. I couldn't get in. I couldn't get a proper look at it. And according to my book, it's got something about Anne Boleyn in it. So that's a little chunk of English history there. I don't know. You can try and sneak into the kitchen yourself. This is just something about the First World War, respecting those that have died. So yeah, respect to the lads. And we did also just miss the font there. I didn't look at it at all. I didn't know it was that old when I looked at it. So again, that's another thing you'll have to see for yourself. Always look in these bins. They've got them all of these churches, a standard issue. Little cup, bag, some bricks. Don't know who's throwing good bricks away. And then I just wanted to look at this. You can see how the flintstone worked. Yabba dabba doo. There we go. There it is on the outside again. You can see those windows. It looks very nice. You can also see there's some patterning in the roof, which is quite nice and unique. You don't tend to see those. So all in all, I think it's not the best church, but it's definitely worth a visit if you're in the area, if you're driving through, which is kind of likely. And I would recommend it. Just watch out for the bees.